There are 5 bills that the government itself says you may no longer have to pay once you turn 65. Not a smaller amount. Not a discount shaved off the top. The whole bill gone, wiped away by a rule that already exists and already has your name on it. And here is the part that should make you angry. Nobody whose job it is to collect that money from you has the slightest reason to pick up the phone and tell you that you are allowed to stop. The hospital will not tell you. The county will not tell you. Not even the government office that runs the program will call to say you qualify. It is all left sitting there quietly in the hope that you will keep on paying out of a lifetime of habit. Thank you for stopping here, because most people scroll right past a video like this and it quietly costs them thousands. So today I am going to walk you through all 5. Exactly which ones, who qualifies, and the one quiet mistake that keeps this money draining out of your account year after year. Stay with me all the way to the end, because the last one is the largest of them all, and it is the one almost nobody has ever heard of. The first one is a hospital bill. Most of the hospitals in this country are nonprofit hospitals, and in exchange for paying no taxes at all, the law requires every one of them to run a program that forgives the bills of patients whose income is modest. It's not charity in the way you're picturing it, and it's not a favor. It's a condition of the enormous tax break the hospital receives every single year. If your income is below a certain line, and that line is far more generous than most people expect, the hospital must reduce your bill, and in a great many cases it must erase the entire thing. This is true whether you have insurance or not, because even an insured senior can be left with thousands of dollars that Medicare didn't cover. But here's the catch, the same catch that runs through all 5 of these. The hospital doesn't have to offer it to you. You have to ask for it by name. You call the billing department and you say, "I want to apply for your financial assistance program," and by law they must hand you the application. To give you a sense of how wide this reaches, at many hospitals a single person earning under roughly $30,000 a year, or a couple under about $40,000, can have the entire bill wiped away, and even well above those numbers the bill is often cut by half or more. Picture a woman who spends 5 days in the hospital and comes home to a bill for $30,000 that she has no idea how she'll ever pay. She may never learn that the hospital was required, by the terms of its own tax break, to erase most or all of it, if only she'd ask. So the bill sits on her kitchen table, and she quietly starts skipping her own medicine to make the payments on a debt she may never have owed at all. The second one is what you hand over at the pharmacy counter. As of this year, there's now a hard limit written into federal law on how much you can be made to pay out of your own pocket for your covered prescriptions in a single year. That limit is $2,100. Once your spending on covered medications reaches that number, you're finished for the rest of the year, and your drug plan must pay the entire cost of everything after that. For someone taking an expensive medication for cancer or for a heart condition, the kind of drug that used to cost people $10,000 or $15,000 a year, that can no longer happen to you. The government capped it. And there's a second step almost nobody uses. You can ask your drug plan to spread that amount across the whole year in small monthly pieces, so it never lands on you all at once. Think for a moment about what this used to mean. Before this cap existed, a senior on a fixed income could open the mailbox and find a pharmacy bill for $8,000 for a single cancer drug, and be forced to choose between the medicine keeping her alive and the money she needed to eat. That cruel choice is now gone. The law drew a line and said no further. But your plan will not send you a letter celebrating it. You have to know the line is there, and know that once you cross it, you can stop worrying. Quick reminder before we move on. This Part D cap gets adjusted slightly most years, so it's worth checking your plan materials each January to confirm the current number, since it won't stay exactly $2,100 forever. The third one is the largest bill most homeowners face all year, and that's your property tax. Now, you may have heard that seniors can freeze their property tax or take an exemption to lower it. This is something different and far more powerful for anyone who is truly stretched. In most states, once you reach 65, you can apply to defer your property tax entirely. To defer, it means you don't pay it now at all. Not a reduced amount. None of it. The state quietly steps in and pays the bill for you year after year and simply records what it has paid as a line against your home, to be settled much later, when the house is eventually sold or passes to your family, usually with a modest, capped rate of interest set by the state. For a senior on a fixed income being crushed by a property tax bill of $3,000, $4,000 or $5,000 a year, that's money that stays in your own pocket for the rest of your life in that home. And like all the others, it's never automatic. You apply for it through your county and you have to ask. Let me put a real face on it. Picture a widower in his late 70s who has lived in the same paid-off house for 40 years, the house where he raised his children. His only income now is his Social Security check, and the property tax has climbed to $5,000 a year, more than a month and a half of everything he receives. Every year he grows a little more afraid of losing the home he already owns over a bill for taxes. If he simply applied to defer it, the state would carry that bill for him quietly for the rest of his life in that home, and the fear would be gone. But no one at the county has ever once told him the program exists. The fourth one is a protection so strong that almost no one believes it's real until they see it in writing. There's a program run by your own state called the Qualified Medicare Beneficiary program. If your income is modest and you qualify for it, two things happen. The state pays your Medicare costs for you, and this is the part that stuns people. It becomes against federal law for a doctor, a hospital, or a pharmacy to bill you for the deductibles, the copays, or the coinsurance that Medicare would normally leave you to pay. Against the law. If you're in this program and a provider sends you a bill for those costs, they've broken federal law, and you don't owe it. Congress wrote this protection decades ago and strengthened it again in recent years, and it's fully in force right now. Yet doctors' offices send these bills by mistake all the time, and the people who receive them, not knowing the law, quietly pay for costs they never owed a single cent of. So how do you know if this is you? The income limits are modest, aimed at seniors living mostly on Social Security and a small amount on top, and they rise a little each year, so the honest mistake is to assume you earn too much and never even check. You apply through your state, the same office that handles Medicaid. And if you're already in the program and you find a stack of old medical bills that you paid, bills you now realize a provider was never allowed to send you, you have the right to go back and ask for that money to be returned to you. And the fifth one, the largest of them all, and the one almost nobody has heard of. This one is only for some of you, but if it is you, it can be worth more than every other item on this whole list combined. If you served in the military during a time of war, or if you're the surviving husband or wife of someone who did, there's a benefit from the Department of Veterans Affairs called aid and attendance. And it's not small. This year, it can pay a single veteran more than $2,400 every single month. It can pay a surviving spouse more than $1,500 a month. And for a married veteran, it climbs higher still, toward $2,900 a month. That money is tax-free, and it arrives every month for the rest of your life. It's meant for older veterans and their spouses who need help with the ordinary tasks of daily living. You don't have to have been wounded, and you don't have to have seen combat. You only have to have served during a recognized wartime period and to meet the care and income tests. Hundreds of thousands of veterans and widows who qualify for this money have never once applied, simply because no one ever told them it exists. I think of the widows most of all. A woman whose husband served in a war a lifetime ago, who's now paying out of her thin savings for the help she needs just to bathe and dress and cook, with no idea that the government owes her more than $1,500 a month for exactly that care, because of what her husband did in his 20s. That money would change her entire life, and it's been sitting there, unclaimed, the whole time. If that's you or your mother or a widow you know from church, that one phone call is worth making today. Now step back and look at what all 5 of these share, because it's the whole reason they stay hidden in plain sight. Not one of them switches itself on. The hospital won't erase your bill until you ask. The pharmacy won't remind you that your costs are capped. The county won't knock on your door and offer to pause your property tax. The doctor who's breaking the law by billing you won't confess it. And the Department of Veterans Affairs won't call a widow to tell her she's been owed $2,000 a month for years. Every one of these was written into the law to help you, and everyone was wrapped in just enough silence that most people never claim it. The government isn't exactly lying to you. It's simply counting on you to stay quiet and to keep paying. So here's what I want you to do. And it's not a someday task. It's a this week task. Pick the one that fits your life and go and claim it. If you're holding a hospital bill, call and say the words Financial Assistance Program before you pay a cent of it. If your property tax is crushing you, call your county and ask about deferring it. And if you or your husband or wife ever served in a time of war, make the call about aid and attendance, because that single phone call has been worth tens of thousands of dollars to people exactly like you. You don't have to chase all 5 at once and wear yourself out. You only have to open one door, because behind every one of them is money that was yours the whole time, quietly kept just out of your reach by a system that was hoping you would never ask. So ask, and then let yourself feel what it is to finally take back something that was always meant to be.